Hello, hello, hello. News, music news, musing news. Bowie, the Bowie estate has finally sold his publishing catalogue to Warner Chappell Music. Yeah, it's gone for 250 million or million dollars, which I don't think's a lot. But apparently, the agreement comprises of 26 David Bowie studio albums released during his lifetime, including the Toy collection, which is coming out at the end of this week. So if you're watching this in the future, whenever that was, I think it's the 7th of January 2021. Also includes Tin Machine's output and various singles and soundtracks and whatnot. So it comprises of everything. And he's not the first. There's been a slew of artists that have done this. Bob Dylan sold his to Universal for $400 million. Paul Simon sold his catalogue to Sony for $250 million. And Bruce Springsteen, $500 million to Sony. And you're seeing that a lot more legacy artists are doing this because it just makes sense. Again, you're coming to the end of your time on this planet. Get some money in the door. But again, they never really tell you what the details are. I mean, we don't know how long Warner Chappell have got it, if it's in perpetuity or if it's just like for a licensing period, if it's like for 25 years or for the remainder of the copyright period. It'd be quite interesting to see. It also brings up the question of will there be a reissue campaign, or is it just, they're just handling the publishing side of things, so they get all the cash from royalties and whatnot, and the Bowie estate still, has say so on what is released. Interesting. It's an interesting thing. Again, the details aren't. We don't know the actual bona fide details. All we know is that money is exchanged hands, and Warner Chappell have the publishing, responsibility for the publishing. I mean, if they did hand over all their responsibilities to Warner, then it means that we could be looking at more reissues. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Again, with some of the collectability of these box sets that have been out, I think it would be good if we did have more repressings of things, so that people who missed them the first time round, could get hold of them. But we're almost coming towards the end of that cycle, because we've got the Brilliant Adventure set out, and there'll be one more after that, I imagine, covering that final period of Bowie's output. So yeah, it's an interesting one, and you do wonder, who's next? Which band will be, or artist will be next to sell their copyright. Also means, looks around, it'd be interesting to see how this affects the featured artist and his legal claims against the Bowie estate. Now that Warner Chappell, are dealing with things, will he have to talk to them? I hear that Warner Chappell Music have many expensive lawyers, so that could be interesting. That could be interesting, couldn't it? But a mate of Bowie, I don't know if Lou Reed. You heard of Lou Reed? I've got to pull up the story. So because I saw the story, and this was an interesting one. This is RCA. Is it RCA? Sony? Before Christmas, on the 23rd of December, Lou Reed, not Lou Reed, because Lou Reed's not here anymore, posthumously released I'm So Free, the 1971 RCA demos, on iTunes. I think it was just in Europe. It was one of those copyright dumps that you see at the end of the year, certain bands. That band, for example, over there, often at the end of the year go, here's all the demos we did from 1971, which is 50 years ago. And so that extends their copyright by another, is it 50 years now? I don't know, it's always changing, 75 years, 25, I don't know. it changes. I'm not up to date with these things. But yeah, they dumped the RCA demos on iTunes Europe, and then pulled them again. I think it was up for maybe 3 or 4 days, and then they pulled them again. Again, this is one of those copyright dumps, so that then those tunes the ownership can be retained. It don't fall out of copyright and become publicly owned, as it were. And you're going to see a lot more of this. Though again, it's a rather silly. Why don't they just bring out a CD or something? Because again, what's annoying is people, want these things, but to actually withdraw it, a few days later, and it was released under stealth. Nobody knew about it. It was done very quietly, and then pulled again. And this is the kind of, sneaky, snidey, awful stuff that the music biz does. And again, all these artists deserve to bloody disappear up their own arseholes, because they're desperate to squeeze any last drip of money out of their copyright. And we all know that will end up killing them, as an artist, as a legacy artist. It will end up killing them because, hey, look at classical musicians. They died. There was no copyright. And, or their copyrights lapsed. There would have been copyright, I guess, depending on the musician, time. But this is why classical music is forever in our hearts and in our minds, because it's used widely without fear of, invoking the wrath of the copyright freaks. And again, if and when I die, not planning to, I want my music to be publicly. I think I'm going to announce this year. Everything on Bandcamp, I'm going to just rate it as 0 because nobody cares about my music. So you can pay what you want. There you go, and it's yours. I've said it now. I've said it. Let's just go and do it, eh? Again, CDs aren't free. You're going to have to pay for those. But the downloads, what the hell? Let's just set it at 0, and then you can all pay what you want. Because again, I want people to hear my music. I want people, and again, if you want to spread it around, fine, do it. As long as you give me full credit, I don't care. It's not about the money, and art shouldn't always be about the money. But that's the music biz. It makes it all about the money, always. And that's why we live in the sad times we live now. It's not about the music, man. The man got involved. But yeah, 2 interesting stories about copyright, both at different ends of the spectrum. And both, Bowie and Reed, there you go. And yeah, again, of course, the 1971 RCA demos would have included the stuff that Bowie produced, like Perfect Day. Because that was for the Transformer record, We Believe. But yeah, but there have been a lot of bands, Bob Dylan, Beatles, Pink Floyd, have all very sneakily put out bootlegs and then quietly brought them back in again. Some have left them up there. I think the Pink Floyd stuff might still be up there, or they bring out very stupidly limited CDs, but that very rarely happens. Now it's all done via the download market, and again, unless your eyes are on iTunes 24/7, you're not going to know. You're not going to know this is going on. So there you go. More reasons why musicians should just get a bit more sense, but they won't. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been talking copyright, Bowie and Reed. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this informative, entertaining. If you haven't, that's your problem. It's not mine. And that's it. Ta.